should you lease or should you buy slash finance a brand new Tesla? Let's talk about some of the differences and most importantly, show you what the interest rates are on the new Tesla vehicles that are a lease. And the one big thing is if you don't qualify for the 7,500 federal tax rate, like you make too much money, leasing is going to be your best route as long as you buy it out because then you can get the 7,500. But if you take a look at some of the vehicles out there, I guess we'll go through it one by one, but of course Tesla Model 3 does have a special right now, $299 a month with $1,000 down. It does end at a certain time. It was supposed to end, I want to say last month, but they're continuing with this. So we'll really see how much of a limited time it actually is. But when you take a look at it, the one thing is for sure, if you want the lowest monthly payment on a Tesla vehicle, leasing is going to be that. Hands down, for the most part, 99% of the time, leasing will generate a lower payment. But there are some things you need to be aware about. The first thing is that you can buy out the lease at the end of the lease. It used to be where you couldn't do that and you had to return the vehicle. It was a purely rental vehicle in that aspect. But now you actually can buy out the end so you can own it, like lease to own. You just have to figure out your financing, whether it's through a credit union, like some of the credit unions that we have down below at our Patreon group, or you could pay cash or try and pay cash or finance it with a different route at the end of it. The other thing is that there are more fees when you lease. There's an acquisition fee. I think it's like 725 or 925, and there's a disposition fee at the end of the lease, which is 350, which can be waived if you are to get into another lease. And on top of that, leasing, just like a rental car, if you damage the vehicle, you will be charged for certain things like wear and tear and anything like that. And so you can quickly Google like Tesla leasing, wear and tear, end of lease inspection, and you'll see not necessarily some of the horror stories because a lot of those horror stories are long gone. Like it used to be times where you would see people posting like, "Oh, I just got hit with like a $4,000 to $5,000 bill." It's gotten a lot more calmer than that, and it really isn't that bad anymore. But you just do have to remember it is not your it's not it is your vehicle, but it isn't your vehicle. And so if there's dents, scratches, or whatever at the end of it, you will be billed by Tesla to make it up to whole again because they've got to go resell. But one of the biggest advantages that you'll have when you're leasing a vehicle, the biggest thing is that it's not your vehicle. And so you got to think about this. Like if you live in high prone areas where there could be accidents and things like that, you knock on wood. And let's say hypothetically, you lease a brand new Model Y and you get into a fender bender, whether it's your fault or not. But what happens? Well, when you get into an accident, there's one thing that we know, or there's a couple things that we know when you get into an accident. There is damage. It has to be fixed by a body shop. And most importantly, it gets a bad, or most importantly, it gets a bad Carfax, which can lower the value of or definitely lowers the value of the vehicle. And so if you own that and if you finance it, that's on you. You take a depreciated loss and hopefully you're going to be keeping that vehicle for a long time. But if you lease it, it's not your problem anymore. Well, after you fix it, in a sense, it's not your problem with the depreciated value of it. You just give it back to Tesla and they figure it out with resale and everything. And so that is some of the powers with leasing and why there's benefits to it. Of course, like just like how we all replace our Android phones and iPhones every few years, it's kind of the same aspect with like an electric vehicle, especially Tesla, with how fast they are with technology and everything, talking about like hardware 3, hardware 4, full self-driving, and whichever it may be. But the other thing you want to keep in mind now is the interest rate on a Tesla lease. We'll have it posted right here so you can take a look at it. You can see like the Model 3s anywhere from 3 to 9%. The long range Model Y is 10.73% as a base interest rate. And so I don't know if I would recommend paying that type of interest rate for anything, no matter what the residual value is or whichever, but certainly that is one factor that could place or could have added costs with the Tesla lease, even though at the payments that they show at $499 a month, it's already factored in and everything. So certainly, hopefully that makes a lot of sense. If you finance the vehicle, it's set at the moment at a base rate of 5.49%. You can beat this interest rate by going to our Patreon group down below in the description, where we have a list of credit unions that all have interest rates anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5%, but you do have to go through outside financing then, which is a slightly separate process with Tesla, but it is possible because you don't have to go through Tesla financing to get their 5.49%. You can definitely beat it by going through a credit union or an outside bank. But hopefully that makes a lot of sense. And whether you should lease or finance a Tesla vehicle, at the end of the day, right now probably is not the best time unless you absolutely need a vehicle. There are some deals here and there in terms of inventory discount, but in terms of like there was lower financing rates just months ago with like 0% with the Model 3 and other vehicles in quarter 4 of last year. And so my recommendation, if you don't need a vehicle, you could probably wait it out until the end of this quarter, which could be as soon as next month, May, or even June. Or if you can wait all the way to the end of this year by quarter 4, that is always going to be the best time to buy a Tesla. But let us know what your thoughts on it. Let us know what you're thinking. Now that you've ordered your brand new Tesla Model Y Juniper, it's time to take it to the next level. That's where our partner Jawa comes into play here. Jawa has everything you need from phone mounts, mobile connectors, center consoles that I highly recommend to fit the new Model Y and every Tesla vehicle out there. And on top of that, you can use our promo code down below in the description to save even more money. And the best part is there's free shipping if you reach over a certain limit. My top 3 accessories that I recommend is a phone mount. It's super crucial that can charge your phone. A center console is highly recommended as well because a Tesla does not come with it at all. And my newest favorite accessory is the invisible under mount sunglass holder area storage area that also has a camera mount as well. So why wait for Tesla to make these accessories? Get yours now at Jawa, link down below in the description, and save some money and support the channel while you're at it. Thank you to Jawa for partnering with us, and let's get on to the next video.